Hello everyone, happy Wednesday, and we are going to talk about our oil a day, which today is fennel. And fennel's one that I did not use very much in the early days just because I always thought, well, fennel's already in the digestive blend, so why do I need it by itself? And I think what happened, which is what normally happens with me, is or what normally happened in the beginning, is an oil that I didn't think I would need for any reason would end up being the product of the month, which means that if you are a wholesale member of doTERRA and you place a loyalty rewards order by the 15th and it's 125 points or more, then you automatically just get a free product. And 1 month Fennel was the free product, and so I got it. And so when I have something, I tend to try to figure out what to use it for. And I started to find all these neat uses for fennel. And so fennel is one of those bodily function oils that is really fun to talk about because it literally is all of those covers all those embarrassing areas, kind of like cypress. The other week when we talked about cypress, it was kind of like that too. And I say that because it has to do with kind of moving things through the body and unclogging things that shouldn't be clogged. And so you can just imagine the possibilities of topics that we can cover. But when I think of fennel, the first thing I think of is gas. So if you're having like gas pains, you want to apply fennel. If you are just having a lot of flatulence or someone you know is having flatulence, that's a really nice PC way of saying that someone is passing gas, okay? But just be careful with fennel because for me, fennel is pretty hot on the skin. And that is one of the reasons why digestin always has to be diluted for me, not just because the peppermint, but because fennel is pretty warm on my sensitive skin. So little kids, you want to bear that in mind. But rubbing it on the tummy is great. So you know when you have little babies who sometimes just get that like really gassy tummy where they're clenching and their stomach feels really hard, that's gas and they just can't tell you. So just remember how it feels when you have that and what you do about it. They just need help releasing that gas out of their system, and so fennel. So another time when you want to like release trapped gases in the body would be like after surgery. So when you have surgery, a lot of times they will pump you full, you'll be pumped full of all this air, and then it gets trapped in there, and it can cause some pretty bad pains, even like in your shoulder blade area, and this can be a really good oil to help release that. If you don't have digestion or you really want to focus and try to get some fluid moving in the ear, so if you have a clogged ear like swimmer's ear or just clogged from a cold or something, you may want to just opt to do fennel. Most often we will say to use digestin because we know everybody has digestin because everybody gets started with a kit and it all has digestin, or we hope everyone gets started with a kit so they have the basics in their home, but not everybody has fennel. But if you do have fennel, it's just really a good target oil to move things. Also like constipation, it would be a good one. Prostate issues, if you've got some issues there, again, you want to be very careful where you apply fennel because it can be tingly in all the wrong ways. And so there is a reflex point above the left ankle for the prostate that you could choose to use, or you can very carefully dilute and apply it to the area. And my cat just ripped a hole in my foot, which is awesome. Whew. Thanks, kitty. He needs his claws trimmed. There's an oil for that, but it's not fennel. And let's see, what else? Fennel. Trying to think what else. Lactation. So yeah, I have a really funny story about this actually. When I was nursing my son, I had a lot of struggles. I think that I just had a lifetime of hormone issues, and I don't think that I had the proper ductwork that actually ever formed because I had thyroid disease prior to puberty, and I didn't realize that was my issue. So I was always trying to increase my milk supply. So for me, this didn't work super great, but if you have all the proper equipment and you just need a little boost in your milk supply, then fennel can be good. And I would take a couple drops under my tongue and I would get a little bit more milk when I did that. A lot of my friends who don't really have the issues that I had with nursing would say that they would do it right before bed, and then in the morning they would have a lot of extra milk. And so that is a way you can use it. I wouldn't apply it to the breast just because it's such a strong smell and you don't want to do anything that's going to interfere with your child nursing. So I would just take it like 1 or 2 drops under the tongue. And really that should only be done for like 10 days at a time. It's just a temporary, sorry, I'm just looking to see if I'm hemorrhaging from the foot where my cat split my toe open. And so you only want to do it for short periods of time. And we don't want to go into all the reasons why that is, but there's scientific reasons why lactation consultants only recommend it as a temporary thing. My funny story about it is, and this goes along with why you should be careful with Fennel and why it's a little hot, is I had a bottle kind of like this that was just like down to the last little bit. It was actually less than this. And so I went to put some under my tongue and I didn't feel any coming out, so I kept on doing that really hard. And apparently I got a whole bunch and it like went down my throat, which is why you should be super careful when you're putting oils under your tongue. You should probably like look in the mirror if you can't tell how much is coming out. And suddenly it was going down my throat and it was burning like fire. Like it felt like I swallowed fire. I was upstairs on the 3rd floor and I looked around and the first thing I did was I ran to the bathroom sink and was cupping some water and I was like right here about to swallow it, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? You never do this. You don't use water when an oil's hot. But it was just like an instant reaction, like an instinct. And I stopped myself and I ran downstairs like a crazy person. It was like real early in the morning. I was still in my pajamas. And John was downstairs with Xavier, and I just busted into the kitchen, and I rip open the kitchen door, the refrigerator door, and I look for whole milk. And we had like this much milk in the bottom of the carton, and I like chugged that down, and that didn't do anything. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like foaming at the mouth, watering eyes, like coughing, and I couldn't say anything. And John was just like, oh my gosh, she's gone. She's finally gone crazy. As a postpartum mom, she has just finally lost her marbles. And what I found was a pint of whole fat yogurt, and I just took the entire pint and just dumped it down my throat. And that finally, the fat in that finally eased that burning that was in my throat. So the moral of the story is too much oil is bad. Be careful using oils internally. It's safe to do if you do it safely. And Fennel can be warm. Kimberly is sharing a really awesome tip here that Fennel and juniper berry for sagging uterus helps with sugar cravings. That's true. That's another reason maybe to put 1 drop under your tongue. And I believe the reason why Fennel helps with, and by the way, Fennel is good for anything saggy because it just has that tightening quality to it. So even like saggy skin, any kind of saggy skin or wrinkled skin, it can help. Again, be careful and heavily dilute it with maybe coconut oil. But the reason why I think it helps with sugar cravings is because of the emotional reason for Fennel, which I really strongly believe that a lot of people probably need this in their lives. And that is that Fennel helps us to recognize the signals our body's trying to send us. And so in our culture of just being busy all the time, we, especially as women and especially as mothers, we tend to learn to shut off our body's messages to tell us you're tired, you're hungry, you're thirsty, you just need a mental health day, whatever your needs are, and we don't take care of our bodies the way we should. And when we do that, sometimes we can start eating junk or craving junky food just to get like a temporary high off of the carbs and the sugars. Sometimes we just don't eat altogether. We'll skip meals and we'll skip drinking water. We'll go without sleep for hours and just push ourselves, and we don't listen to our bodies. We literally like shut off the communication. It's kind of like, if somebody's standing right next to you saying, Deanna, 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 and you just somehow finally learn to just ignore that and just block it out. And we do that to our body's messages, and it is really an unhealthy practice. And last night at like 11:30, when I was finally done with all the stuff I had to do yesterday, I was just sitting here in the chair thinking, my gosh, like I haven't eaten or drank anything. I'm exhausted. I have so much to do tomorrow. I got to get up early and do this, 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 and this. And what I did this morning is I decided to listen to my body. And Xavier and I laid in bed till 9 o'clock in our jammies watching Happy Feet on the TV in my room, and we had breakfast in bed, and we just chilled and took it really slow this morning. And sure, I didn't get a lot of stuff done, but now I feel refreshed and renewed. And I've been a single parent for the last several days, and super, super heavy work schedule, and a super active toddler, and I've just been not taking care of myself. And I'll tell you a secret, I didn't do so great taking care of my son yesterday either. I woke up this morning and realized I forgot to feed him his last feeding. He still drinks formula before bed, and I didn't give him any. And I also told him he couldn't have any water. He was like begging for water, and I'm like, no, 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 you need to drink your formula because it's got all this nutrition that he doesn't really get when he eats. And I needed him to drink that, so I wouldn't let him have water. So I sent him to bed basically dehydrated and starving. And I woke up this morning and I'm like, I looked in the fridge and saw his last bottle sitting in there from last night, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I really needed to check myself. So in those situations, Fennel is a good one to inhale. Maybe just like put some in your palms and cup it over your nose and mouth. Maybe find a way to diffuse it with something, because it's pretty strong to diffuse by itself. I mean, you can try diffusing digestion, or maybe just mix it with something like grapefruit. I haven't tried that before, but I'm saying grapefruit because grapefruit's the oil of honoring your body, so it kind of pairs really well with Fennel anyway. So try that. Aviance, if you're on here, did you tell me, am I smoking crack, or did you tell me that you you made something crazy with Fennel one time? I can't remember what, I thought it was you, because you're always come up with these really good recipes. But I've been eating a lot of Fennel lately, and I know it goes really good with pork, and so I'm looking forward to the next time I actually cook. I have other people cook for me, so I haven't cooked in a while, but next time I make some pork, I think I'm going to try and marinate it with a little bit of Fennel and just see how that tastes, because I have this chef prepared meals and they have cooked Fennel with my pork lately, and it's really, really good, especially in the Instant Pot. It might be kind of yummy. So if anybody has any other ideas about how to cook with Fennel, it's something that you may not think about cooking with, but I'm telling you, I'm starting to realize that it's got a really nice flavor with certain meats. So if you guys have any other tips, Kimberly shared some really great ones. Please share them below, because I don't think of everything on these videos, and I don't know everything, so we all learn together. I'll be back here tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, because tomorrow's going to be a crazy day, but backup is coming. My mother is on her way here in an airplane, thank the Lord in heaven, and so I will have somebody to help me with my adulting over the next few days while John is gone, and so I look forward to that. So hopefully I will be back 1 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, they need Fennel too. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. Shine on.